Good day, folks. Welcome to Just Omer. My name is Omer Ahern Jr., and this is my periodic report to the people of Grafton County and beyond as to what we're doing up in Grafton County. I'm making this report in my capacity as a Grafton County Commissioner from District 3, and I serve the towns, well, I serve all the towns in Grafton County, but I am elected from District 3, which includes the towns on the eastern and southern part of Grafton County, going up to Campton, Warren, Groton, over to Canaan, and then down to Orange and Bristol, Ashland, and of course Hebron, Plymouth, and Holderness. I serve with two other county commissioners. The present chairperson of the Grafton County Commissioners is Commissioner Wendy Piper, and she is from District 1, which is made up of the towns of Hanover, Lebanon, and Enfield. And then we also serve with Commissioner Linda Lauer. She's the vice chairman of the board, and she serves she is elected from the towns along the western and northern part of Grafton County. I serve also as the clerk of the Grafton County Board of Commissioners, and as the clerk, part of my duties is to sign off on every county invoice, every check that Grafton County pays out, whether it's for electricity or food or for medical supplies, and you know, the final paychecks every 2 weeks. I have to sign off. I have to review all of those invoices and then sign off on them. So that's a very interesting task. Provides me with a lot of interesting information, and as I go over those invoices, I find that there's a lot of opportunities for savings in Grafton County government. And I try to work those things in talking with the Board of County Commissioners. The County Commissioners meet at least once a week. This week, today is the 21st of September. This week, the Commissioners met twice. On Monday, September 19th, we met with the Grafton County Delegation Executive Committee, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And then we met again on yesterday, September 20th, a Tuesday, and had our regular Board of Commissioners meeting. I attended the Commissioners meeting yesterday, Tuesday, via Team, via the new Team thing, which kind of is not really taking the place of the Zoom meetings, but I'm the wrong person to be talking about Zoom and Team and the internet. So there's quite a bit of stuff going on, I think of very grave importance at the county right now. Of course, the county commissioners' duties, what we're elected to do by state statute, and the county governments were formed back in the 1870s by state statute. The county commissioners are responsible for the operations of the nursing home, and Grafton County has a 135-bed nursing home. The county commissioners are also responsible for the operations and staffing of a Department of Corrections, which includes the House of Correction and jail for pretrial confinements, and also for those that are sentenced to the House of Correction for a year and a day or less. And then we also are the last county in New Hampshire, in the 10 counties in New Hampshire. We are the last county in New Hampshire to have a working dairy vegetable farm. And we are having some challenges with our farming operation right now, but we are still milking cows, and we're going to be harvesting potatoes and winter squash, and we've been harvesting corn and gourds all pretty much all summer long. And then, of course, we're responsible for what's going on at the nursing home, and the providing that there is maintenance staff, electricians, plumbers, all those things that are necessary for the operations. And what, of course, is difficult for Grafton County, as it is for every business, every operation throughout the nation, is staffing, finding employees. One of the big issues we have is in the nursing home, because the federal government and the state Department of Health and Human Services have mandated masks and the taking of the so-called vaccine. We have lost nursing staff, nurses who, in their good conscience, said that they're not going to succumb or take the vaccine, and so they could not continue to be employed by Grafton County. As a result, we don't have sufficient nursing staff at the nursing home to meet the federal and state ratio of nursing staff to residents in the nursing home. So right now, the nursing home census, instead of being 135 residents in our 135-bed nursing home, we only have about 88 residents in our nursing home, which means there's a loss in revenue to the county. Yes, in our present fiscal year budget that started on July 1st, the county commissioners, and as approved by the county delegation, figured that we would figure the revenue to be based upon 100 residents in the nursing home and not 135 residents. So we're losing income from Medicare, Medicaid, the Veterans Administration, and also private pay residents. And that's creating, and we're still not able to bring out the amount of nursing staff that we need in order to even meet, evidently, the 100 beds that we wanted to have filled. One of the ways that we have been at the county, meeting as much as we can the nursing staffing issues, is by hiring what we call traveling nurses. And as a result, Grafton County contracts with nursing agencies from Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, and we're able to bring in nursing staff from actually all over the nation who work for these different agencies. But we are paying more than a premium to get those nurses. And it's RNs, LPNs, nurses' aides. But in order for us to meet our needs at Grafton County, we have to find nurses wherever we can find them. The county commissioners have tried to improve upon the pay scales at the county by having a wage salary completed earlier this year. And as a result, we have increased the pay rates for every employee at Grafton County, whether they're in the kitchen, in the nursing home, in the Department of Corrections, or administrative staff, working at the Register of Deeds. So we've increased to various levels all of these salaries at the Grafton County complex up in North Haverhill. So that's one of the issues that we're dealing with. And of course, the other issue that we're dealing with, which is kind of farm and Department of Corrections related, is because of the pandemic and the fact that the last couple of years the courts have not been doing a lot of jury trials, although the court system is now picked up. There has been a very small inmate population at Grafton County. And the inmates at the Department of Corrections, at the House of Correction, is what the county relies on to provide a lot of labor on the farm. And as a result, we were not able for the last 2 seasons to plant our normal level of crops. Tomatoes and lettuce and beets and rutabagas and summer squash and zucchini. We were able to plant potatoes, red potatoes and white potatoes, and winter squash, buttercup, butternut, and Hubbard, and sweet corn, as well as planting the cow corn and what we needed to feed our cows. But those are crops that can be taken care of with a minimum amount of labor and can be harvested with a minimum amount of labor. And our farming employees, who are employees of the county and not from the Department of Correction, are pretty much able to handle those things. Although for much of the year we've been able to get 1 or 2 and as many as 3 inmates from the county corrections to help out on the farm. And a big help to that is Sergeant Griffin from the Department of Corrections, who has been a wonderful helper in bringing these inmates onto the farm and showing them what to do and how to do it. Milking cows and harvesting the crops and cleaning out the barns and feeding the cows and so on and so forth. So a shout out to Sergeant Griffin. Sergeant Griffin, thank you for what you do. And so on Monday of this week, September 19th, the county commissioners met with the Grafton County delegation, executive committee. Now, the Grafton County delegation is made up of those state representatives that you elect from here in Grafton County. They're the people that go down to Concord and pass the legislation down there in the State House as the state representatives. They're not the state senators, but they are the state representatives. And the executive committee of the delegation is the executive committee, and they meet once every 3 months and more often as is necessary to review what's going on at the county. The commissioners present their own report. Commissioner Piper did a report to the executive committee on Monday, and then the county administrator, Julie Libby, gives her report, and then the county delegation also on Monday discussed approving the ARPA requests that have been made. This was round 4 of the American Relief Act, with federal funding. Back earlier this year, the Grafton County received just about $17.5 million from the federal government as part of this ARPA program. So the delegation met to approve several ARPA requests from the Sheriff's Department, the Register of Deeds, the County Attorney's Office, and all of these things can be found eventually on the county website under the minutes for these meetings. So it was a long meeting. It was a long meeting, a lot of discussion about the ARPA request. The American Rescue Plan request, ARP, the American Rescue Plan request. So that's what ARPA stands for. Then on Tuesday, the 20th, yesterday, the county commissioners met for their regular meeting, and again, I attended via team because I had an appointment later on, and I wasn't quite sure I was going to be able to finish up my meeting up in North Haverhill in person and make it back down to Plymouth for my medical appointment. So I attended via team. So the first, after we do the Pledge of Allegiance, which we did at 9 o'clock a.m. at the beginning of the meeting, we met with the Broadband Committee, the County Broadband Committee. And where we are right now with the broadband committee, and most of the members of the committee are made up of the administrative assistants or administrators of the towns here in Grafton County. And what we're trying to do is make sure, with some help from Grafton County government, to bring broadband to every home in Grafton County. Every home in Grafton County. However, one of the things that we've got to remember is there are other internet service providers out there, such as, I can't remember the full name of it, but New Hampshire Electric Cooperative has a division that is doing broadband. And they are doing a lot of work. They've already put in the middle mile for most of the towns that they serve here in the southern and southern and eastern part of Grafton County. So there's an opportunity, there's a need for some millions of dollars more to complete the entire middle mile program and then start to provide the outreach from there to the individual homes. And so there's been a request from the broadband committee that Grafton County itself come up with $7.2, $7.5 million to help fund a grant program. And in order to get the grant from this particular federal agency or from a nonprofit agency, they have to have some matching funds. And so the broadband committee has approached Grafton County about providing, this match. And, there is some reluctance about providing that. And so that's an ongoing thing. The vote yesterday by the commissioners to authorize going ahead and planning on Grafton County to provide up to $7.2 or $7.5 million to provide a match for the rest of the money that they're looking for. The vote of the county commissioners was 2-1. And I voted against encumbering or potentially encumbering the taxpayers of Grafton County with this $7.2 or $7.5 million obligation. So we'll see what the delegation is going to do. The delegation will, as a whole, is supposed to be meeting, I believe, next Thursday, the 29th of September, because the final approval, the final decision whether or not to encumber Grafton County's taxpayers, that ultimate decision needs to be made by the county delegation. Your state representatives, if you are a resident of Grafton County. After the broadband committee met, the High Sheriff of Grafton County came in, Sheriff Jeff Stiegler, and he was asking for approval of some purchases with money that had been approved under the ARPA program. His request for ARPA funds in order to purchase ammunition, some protective gear for his deputies, and for lack of a better word and a quick word, a bus in order to move arrested folks from different events, or to move people, inmates from the House of Correction to different things. So it's a part of a safety program, safety for the deputies, safety for the corrections officers, and safety for the people of Grafton County. So the commissioners, and because the amount of money is in excess of $5,000. There had to be a vote by the commissioners to approve that. And there were 4 requests, 2 requests again for equipment for radios and being able to have the deputies and the sheriff's department consult with one another when they're out on the road and doing things. And of course, then the life safety equipment. And so, and then of course, the sheriff also wanted to purchase, soft body armor was the thing, the body armor to protect our deputies when they're out doing their jobs, because who knows what they're going to confront when they're out, especially in this day and age. And then there was a request to buy somewhere in the vicinity of $24,000 to $25,000 worth of ammunition. And so there were 4 requests from the sheriff. 3 of the requests were voted on unanimously by the county commissioners, and the request for the ammunition, basically, as the sheriff described it, it would be a 5-year supply of ammunition for the Grafton County Sheriff's Department. A lot of that would be to do training of the sheriff's deputies. And I believe that vote was 2-1, and I believe Commissioner Ahern also voted against making that purchase at this time. Then the next item on the agenda was Karen Clough, the Human Resource Director, and again, her office is primarily responsible for bringing finding people to fill the vacant positions we have at Grafton County. And as I've been talking about the last 2 or 3 times I've been talking with you here on Just Omer, and again, I want to thank the Plymouth PBTV for allowing me this opportunity. We're still looking for a farm manager, and we're looking now also for a farm employee to work on the farm, as well as corrections officers, nursing staff, and we're still looking for a couple of more people to work in the maintenance department. One as an electrician, and one that has some electrician capabilities, but not a licensed electrician. So we met with Karen Clough, and a lot of that discussion was under non-public session. Therefore, I cannot talk about that in public. So there's a lot of hard decisions that have to be made by the commissioners. A lot of those decisions are funding, of course, and I've talked about those. Where the farm is going to be going. There is a farm committee in place now to talk about the future of the farm. I think everybody's pretty much in agreement that we do want to continue having a milking program where we're milking cows, and how exactly are we going to continue to sell a lot of milk every 2 days to Agrimark and bring in some money. We've essentially cut back the milking herd by 14 dairy animals, and then we've also cut back the corresponding number of heifers that would be replacement milking animals. We've determined so far that we would like to keep the swine operation that we have, the pig operation. Probably talking about discontinuing the chicken and the egg operation, but also trying to do working with vegetable production, growing vegetables. But looking at maybe having Grafton County Farm be more involved with educational opportunities for our young people, 4-H, some of the colleges in the area, that maybe we could work with them. But again, we're looking at UNH Cooperative Extension, because UNH has quite a agricultural program at their main university down in Durham. And we have some very wonderful UNH Cooperative Extension people that work up at Grafton County. And so I think we're very, very fortunate to have those folks. Donna Lee, who works with the 4-H program, Heather Bryant, who is a vegetable and fruit, small fruit specialist, and they provide a lot of excellent advice to us. And we have a food safety specialist up there, Mary Saucier-Choate. And of course, we've got our county forester up there, Jim Frone. And their phone numbers, you can find their phone numbers on the Grafton County website. And Jim Frone, the county forester, if you've got a piece of woodlands, forest land, and you'd like to have somebody come up and talk with you about it, see what you've got, Jim Frone is very excited about finding the time to come up and visit with landowners anywhere in Grafton County. And a very knowledgeable man. One of the things that Jim is working on right now for Grafton County is he is preparing to do a timber cut. It was hard for us to try to do that timber cut last year because of the COVID situation, but Jim has advised the commissioners that he has mapped out, where the wood roads are going to be for a timber cut, and now he is in the process of starting to mark the trees to be harvested, probably this winter. And it's a selective cut. It's not going to be a clear cut. And so we appreciate that work that Jim does. One of the things that I'm hoping can happen, of course, is that maybe as part of the forestry operations up there, the county can make some firewood and be in a position to donate firewood to those families and individuals in Grafton County that just don't have the money to buy firewood. They heat with wood, and I'm hoping that we can provide that kind of a service going into the future, as we do with our potato crop and winter squash crop. So we're very unique, I believe, in Grafton County to be able to do all the wonderful things that we do for the people. And part of what my job is as a county commissioner is to make sure we are being prudent with the taxpayer dollars. And I think I've mentioned this before. If you look at if you're a property tax payer here in Grafton County, take a look at your tax bill and look at the county portion of your bill, and you should see a reduction in your county taxes because in this year's budget, the commissioners were able to put together a 1.54% decrease in county taxes. So we're trying to be as frugal as we can and yet still maintain the high quality of care that we provide to our residents in the nursing home, provide the type of re-education at the Department of Corrections to try to help these young people so that they're not going to turn to continuing to use illegal drugs and to do bad things to hurt other people and hurt themselves and their families. So we want to be able to provide some opportunities for these people in the House of Correction to find a different way to carry out their life. So I want to thank the folks here at PBTV for hosting me, and I want to thank Commissioners Piper and Lauer for their work on behalf of the people of Grafton County. And at this point, I would like to say thank you, and God bless the Granite State of New Hampshire, and God bless the Republic of the United States of America. Thank you, and take care.